A wealthy and self-assured man, he finds himself heartbroken after his fiancée chooses another. In a bid to mask his vulnerability, he devises a bold scheme that will leave you astonished. As the narrative unfolds, please share in the comments the city from which you are tuning in. Delight in the tale, everyone. Michael Carter, a millionaire accustomed to a life of luxury, found himself confronted with a wedding invitation from his ex-fiancée, Stella, now set to marry another man. The anguish of loss weighed heavily, yet Michael, as ever, would not reveal a hint of vulnerability. He required a strategy to demonstrate to all, particularly Stella, that he was indifferent. Out of the blue, his gaze fell upon Chloe, the maid, diligently sorting through the papers scattered around the room. Chloe possessed youth and beauty, along with an authentic charm that aligned seamlessly with his intentions. "Chloe, approach me," he commanded with a firm voice. Chloe paused for a moment, then set aside her task and moved closer. "Is there something you require, Mr. Carter?" she inquired, maintaining her usual politeness. "Indeed. I would like you to join me for an event. It's intimate." The proposal seemed utterly ridiculous. Chloe gazed at him, her expression a blend of astonishment and bewilderment. "Mr. Carter, I am here to serve you in my capacity as your maid, not as an escort." Michael chuckled softly, as though her response was entirely expected. "Chloe, this isn't a request. It's an invitation to seize a chance. This will come with a generous compensation. Simply join me, dazzle with your presence, and keep the chatter to a minimum." Chloe experienced a tightness in her throat. Despite how distasteful the notion was, the sum Michael proposed was too tempting to ignore. After nearly 2 years of working alongside him, she had mastered the art of navigating his commanding presence. Yet she never anticipated a turn of events like this. She pondered over her mounting bills and the course she aspired to begin. "Why am I the one?" she boldly inquired. Michael fixed her with an unwavering gaze. "Because you possess a certain simplicity, a quiet elegance, and, after a brief pause, an individuality that sets you apart from the crowd." The response felt like a veiled insult disguised as praise, yet Chloe set aside her pride. "Very well, I shall proceed," she replied after a moment's hesitation. However, only for a single night. Michael beamed, content with himself. "Fantastic, there's plenty to tackle ahead of us." As Chloe exited the room, uncertainty clouded her thoughts. What repercussions might arise from agreeing to this arrangement with such an erratic individual? The following morning, Chloe found herself struggling to grasp the implications of her recent decision. Michael had firmly established his dominance over the situation. A sleek luxury car pulled up to her doorstep, ready to whisk her away to an elegant boutique nestled in the heart of the city. Upon her entrance, a stylist welcomed her with an air of intimidation reminiscent of Michael. "Miss Chloe, we are about to embark on a transformation journey for you," declared the woman with a discerning gaze. As the guests arrived with their dresses, shoes, and accessories, Chloe felt as though she had stepped into a transformation reality show. Every selection felt like a poignant reminder of the vast chasm between Michael's existence and her own. She attempted to decline the towering heels that threatened her stability, yet her objections went unheard. Michael arrived shortly after, scrutinizing every detail with a discerning gaze. "She must exude sophistication without appearing contrived," he asserted, as the stylist agreed with a nod. Chloe folded her arms, feeling uneasy. "Perhaps I could select something that brings me a sense of ease?" "At ease?" Michael let out a short laugh. "This isn't about comfort, Chloe. It's about making an impression." The reply ignited a fire within her, yet Chloe understood that engaging in a dispute would be futile. Embracing this arrangement required adhering to his stipulations, at least for the time being. After countless adjustments and trials, Michael ultimately approved a stunning black dress that accentuated Chloe's inherent beauty. She gazed into the mirror, struggling to identify the woman staring back at her. For a fleeting instant, she sensed a surge of strength. "Now this is it," Michael remarked, studying her as though she were a masterpiece unveiled. "Everything about this feels somewhat," Chloe remarked, her words dripping with exaggeration, uncertainty lingering in her tone. Michael turned to her, his gaze unwavering. "Stella can be certain that you are my selection." The name of the former fiancé lingered in the atmosphere, a quiet testament to the cause of it all. The following day, Michael engaged an etiquette expert to instruct Chloe in the ways of high society behavior. For hours, she received guidance on the art of walking, the nuances of smiling, and the delicate way to hold a champagne glass. The endeavor drained her, yet it also provoked her annoyance. "I can hold a glass without help," she protested. After dropping one for the third time, Michael, observing from a distance, just shook his head. "Your goal is to stand out, not to blend in." Chloe inhaled deeply, striving to maintain her composure. "What makes all of this so significant for you, Michael? You possess all that you need. Wealth, influence, admiration." For a brief instant, he appeared taken aback by the inquiry, yet quickly restored his stoic demeanor. "There are certain things that money simply cannot acquire, Chloe. Let's put it this way, intimate." Though the response lacked persuasion, she chose to refrain from probing deeper. It was evident that there were deeper layers to the narrative he was revealing. On the eve of the wedding, Michael arrived with an unusually grave demeanor. "Tomorrow, the spotlight will shine upon us. Eliminate any possibility of uncertainty or error." Chloe gazed at him, weary from the relentless training and unceasing expectations. "Michael, what makes this so significant for you?" "Stella is merely a chapter from your past." He offered a chilling smile. "Stella is more than merely my former partner. She was the sole individual who dared to challenge me, believing she could take my place." Chloe discovered that beneath Michael's assured exterior lay a struggle with insecurities he diligently concealed. This was more than just Stella. It revolved around injured ego, dominance, and the urge to demonstrate that no one could outshine him. "Is this merely a way to feed your self-importance?" she inquired, testing his resolve. Michael squinted, his gaze sharp and focused. "I don't anticipate that you'll grasp this, Chloe. Simply adhere to the strategy." The air was thick with tension, yet Chloe decided against dragging the argument any further. She understood that, regardless of the outcome, her endurance was on the brink of being challenged in unprecedented ways. On the morning of the wedding, Chloe prepared with the assistance of a team that Michael had arranged. Her hair flowed effortlessly, her makeup was impeccable, and the dress seemed to have stepped straight out of a storybook. In that fleeting moment, as she gazed into the mirror, all else faded away. The strategy, Michael, Stella. She sensed a change within herself. Self-assured, Michael discovered her moments before their departure. He wore an impeccable suit, and for the first time, Chloe realized that, despite his unbearable personality, he was undeniably striking. "You appear satisfactory," he remarked, attempting to maintain a facade of indifference. Yet Chloe noticed the subtle smile playing at the corners of his mouth. "Thanks, I suppose," she responded with a hint of irony. As they drove to the wedding, an unspoken tension hung in the air, enveloping them in a heavy silence. Chloe attempted to mask the anxiety that bubbled within her. She was on the brink of entering a realm that felt foreign, standing beside a man who appeared devoid of any true emotion. As they reached the venue, Michael cast a final glance at her before exiting the car. "Do you recall, Chloe? Today you stand beside me as my collaborator. Embrace it as if it's your destiny." She inhaled deeply, locking eyes with him. "There's no need for me to put on a show, Michael. I simply have to make it through this." As soon as Chloe emerged from the car, murmurs started to circulate. Every gaze at the wedding was fixed on her and Michael. The sleek black dress that accentuated her figure, combined with the poised stance she had rehearsed for hours, appeared to be effective. Michael strolled alongside her, exuding the same sense of superiority that seemed to follow him wherever he went. Yet, on this occasion there was an added depth. Confidence. Chloe swiftly recognized that she had ventured into unknown grounds. The attendees comprised a blend of influential entrepreneurs, glamorous socialites, and a handful of lesser-known celebrities. In the distance, the bride, Stella, was surrounded by a circle of friends, her laughter ringing out joyfully. Chloe experienced a constriction in her chest. It wasn't dread, but rather an awareness of being in an unfamiliar environment, amidst individuals who inhabited an entirely distinct existence. "Don't let anyone intimidate you," Michael whispered in her ear, as if he could sense her inner turmoil. Chloe maintained her poise as they approached the reception. Before long, an older man with a wide grin came up to them. "Michael, what a delightful surprise to find you here, and with such an enchanting companion by your side." Michael grasped the man's hand firmly. "Naturally, I arrived, George. Stella and I share a past, rich with memories." The remark caused Chloe to arch an eyebrow, yet she remained quiet, managing a courteous smile. As dinner commenced, Chloe observed that Michael possessed a remarkable talent for engaging in superficial dialogue while radiating an undeniable sense of superiority. She, in contrast, put forth every effort to maintain pace. At one moment, Stella made her way towards them, her smile cutting through the air like the brilliance of her pristine white dress. "Michael, what an unexpected delight." She scrutinized Chloe from head to toe. "And who might your companion be?" Before Michael had a chance to reply, Chloe reached out her hand. "Chloe, what a delight it is to make your acquaintance, Stella." The bride appeared taken aback by Chloe's self-assurance, yet she extended her hand for a shake. "The pleasure is entirely mine. I was taken aback when Michael introduced someone so enchanting." Clearly annoyed by Stella's tone, Michael cut in. "Chloe has been an incredible companion. She comprehends me in ways that very few individuals ever might." Stella narrowed her eyes, scrutinizing Chloe as though she were on the hunt for flaws in her flawless facade. "How captivating. Let's have a conversation later, Chloe. I would be delighted to learn more about you." Chloe nodded, yet she sensed that the invitation held a deeper, more complex meaning than it appeared at first glance. As the evening unfolded, Chloe increasingly sensed her disconnection from the surroundings. Soft murmurs floated through the air, accompanied by sidelong looks, while a few women unmistakably ridiculed her when she wasn't looking. She endeavored to concentrate on the commitment she had pledged to herself. Endure the night and depart with her self-respect preserved. As the dance unfolded, Michael stepped forward and offered his hand. "You're making great progress. It's time for us to move to the rhythm. Shall we dance?" "I do not." She paused for a moment, yet he was already drawing her down onto the floor. "Believe me," he insisted, gripping her hand tightly. To her astonishment, Michael moved with grace, leading her effortlessly as though it came naturally to him. Chloe faltered momentarily, yet quickly discovered her flow. As they danced, she sensed his gaze locked onto hers, and for an instant, the world around her faded away. Michael remarked, shattering the quiet, "You're surpassing my expectations." Chloe chuckled, attempting to mask her anxiety. "Your dancing exceeds my expectations." Their conversation was cut short as Stella made her way over. "Michael, could I borrow your date for just a moment?" Michael appeared to pause for a moment, yet eventually gave a nod. "Of course, but please be prompt." Chloe trailed behind Stella, seeking a quieter, more private spot. The bride wore a measured smile, and Chloe sensed that the pivotal moment was upon them. "Well, Chloe," Stella started, folding her arms across her chest. "What tale do you have to share? Where did Michael discover you?" "I apologize, but I'm not quite clear on the question." Chloe replied with a composed demeanor. "Ah, you get it." Stella moved in closer. "He has consistently excelled at selecting the right moves on the board. It appears that you..." "Hendy." Chloe's anger simmered beneath the surface, yet she maintained her composure. "It seems that Michael ought to be held accountable for his decisions." Stella was taken aback by the direct response, a soft laugh escaping her lips. "Indeed, he had a penchant for challenges. Wishing you all the best, my dear." Chloe approached the table, a sense of unease washing over her, yet she made an effort to conceal it. Michael instantly sensed that something was amiss. What was Stella's response? He inquired, his expression filled with worry. "Nothing I couldn't manage," Chloe responded, withholding specifics. As the speeches unfolded, Chloe observed that Michael seemed uneasy. As the crowd showered accolades upon Stella and her new husband, he appeared aloof, his jaw clenched tightly. As their gazes locked, Chloe offered a subtle smile, attempting to ease the tension in the air. Michael averted his gaze, yet appeared more relaxed. How about we engage in a little game with those who focus solely on the comments? Leave a comment with the word chocolate. Only those who reach this point will truly comprehend. Let us proceed with the narrative. As the event drew to a close, Michael and Chloe bid farewell to their guests. As they made their way to the car, he finally shattered the stillness that hung between them. You exceeded my expectations. Thank you, I believe, Chloe responded. I'm serious about this. He paused, uncertain of how to conclude his thought. You were flawless. Chloe found herself at a loss for words, yet a peculiar warmth blossomed in her chest. In spite of Michael's overwhelming arrogance and need for control, there were instances that prompted her to ponder the true nature of his character. Yet, before she could delve deeper into her thoughts, she sensed that something had shifted that night, and the repercussions were only starting to unfold. Chloe awoke the following day, her mind still processing the happenings of the wedding. The night unfolded like a tempest of feelings, and while she had succeeded in leaving an impression, there lingered an unsettling quality to Michael's demeanor. He appeared trapped in a loop of arrogance and self-doubt that rendered him unpredictable, particularly in Stella's presence. Michael, for his part, swiftly returned to his usual rhythm. That morning, he found himself engaged in a meeting with prospective investors. Yet, the murmurs regarding his presence with Chloe at the wedding circulated rapidly. Some guests, particularly Stella's close friends, wondered about the identity of that woman. Stella, recognizing the moment, began to stoke the whispers. During a discussion with a prominent investor, she suggested that Chloe could possess deeper qualities than what was initially evident. Michael has consistently shown an unusual preference for companions. Is she there because of her abilities or just for convenience? She asked with a sharp edge to her voice. The speculation intensified, and soon enough, one of the investors confronted Michael face to face over lunch. Who will accompany you to the wedding? Is it Chloe? She appears quite resolute. It seems to me that her aspirations reach far beyond your scope. Michael, already vexed by Stella's taunts, sensed the remark strike at his ego. He understood that Chloe posed no danger, yet his own doubts, coupled with the words he had heard earlier that day, led him to respond excessively. That afternoon, Chloe found herself summoned to Michael's office. Upon her arrival, she immediately felt the charged ambience in the room. He sat behind his desk, his gaze locked onto a stack of papers. Yet, his expression was unforgiving. Did you wish to meet with me? Chloe inquired, making an effort to maintain her composure. Michael raised his gaze. Absolutely. We must clarify a few matters. She moved in, steeling herself for what lay ahead. What's happening? Michael flung a handful of papers onto the table. There are whispers about you engaging with investors during the wedding. What precisely did you communicate to them? Chloe was taken aback. Engaging with investors? I only spoke with Stella and a handful of others who came up to me. What was the specific topic of your discussion? He pressed, his voice tinged with doubt. Chloe's anger surged within her. Shall we engage in a conversation? Michael, I simply followed your instructions to the letter. I stood by you throughout, save for the moments when Stella sought my attention. He rose abruptly, striking the table with his hands. So it was Stella. Naturally, she would attempt something, and you walked straight into her snare. Chloe folded her arms, disbelief etched across her face. Are you really holding me responsible for something I'm completely unaware of? You've crossed the line, he stated, dismissing her efforts to clarify. I placed my trust in you for a straightforward assignment. It seems you inevitably attract more attention than is warranted. The allegation struck Chloe deeply. Are you suggesting that my presence caused you pain? You are the reason I find myself in this situation. Michael inhaled deeply, striving to keep his composure, yet his fury appeared to dominate him. Chloe, I believe it's time for us to part ways. You may take your leave now." Chloe paused, caught in a moment of stillness. Rejected? Am I being let go? Indeed, our dynamic has become ineffective. The words hit like a sudden blow. Chloe experienced a tumultuous mix of pride and indignation, yet she understood that engaging in a debate with Michael would yield no fruitful outcome. "All right, if that is your choice, I will respect it. However, understand this, Michael. This is a significant error in judgment." With a confident stride, she exited the room, her head held high. Yet within her, a storm of despair raged. It was more than merely losing the job. It was in the manner he treated her, casting her aside as if she held no value. The days that followed were challenging for Chloe. In the midst of her fury, she recognized the necessity to rise again. Without the job, her savings would quickly dwindle. Rather than succumbing to despair, she chose to harness the circumstances as motivation to transform her life. Chloe embarked on a project she had envisioned for quite some time: eco-friendly design. Through the use of repurposed materials and her imaginative flair, she crafted a unique collection of items that swiftly garnered interest on social media. In just a few weeks, her creations started to attract attention, and requests began to flood in. At the same time, Michael encountered mounting pressure within his organization. The unease stemming from Stella's presence and the whispers from the wedding persisted in eroding his credibility. Although he would never confess it, thoughts of Chloe frequently occupied his mind. Something lingered in his mind, a fierce resolve reflected in her gaze as she exited the room, an image he couldn't shake off. One morning, as he pored over financial reports, Michael stumbled upon an email that took him by surprise. An article on a design website celebrated the achievements of a rising entrepreneur, Chloe. He clicked the link and beheld images of her artistic endeavors. The creations were original, brimming with character, and perfectly embodied her essence. For a fleeting instant, he experienced a blend of reverence and discomfort. Chloe was flourishing independently, while his own existence seemed to spiral further into chaos. That evening, Michael found himself at a business event, yet he felt a sense of detachment. In the midst of a discussion, he caught wind of someone bringing up Chloe's name once more. It felt as though, despite his efforts, he remained ensnared by her presence. He resolved that a visit with her was essential. In the meantime, Chloe was dedicating herself wholeheartedly to expanding her business. The hurt and bruised ego she experienced after being cast aside by Michael transformed into a driving force. She understood that she didn't require his approval, or anyone else's, to achieve her goals. Yet, upon hearing the notification chime from her phone, her heart almost skipped a beat. Came from Michael. Chloe gazed at Michael's message for a moment, her heart pounding. After weeks of quiet, there he stood, eager to converse. But what is the reason? What was it that he desired, having cast her aside so effortlessly? Resolute in her decision, Chloe brushed aside the message and redirected her attention to her tasks. The cozy studio she had created in her living room was starting to feel a bit cramped. Her sustainable decor pieces were flying off the shelves, and she found herself struggling to meet the ever-increasing demand. It was draining, yet it brought her a sense of empowerment over her own existence. In the meantime, Michael found it difficult to focus. Chloe had rejected his effort to connect, and it troubled him more than he cared to acknowledge. He attempted to rationalize his increasing fascination with her as nothing more than simple curiosity. Ultimately, it was rare for someone he had let go to break free from his influence and thrive independently. Yet, there existed an additional layer. The memory of her gaze lingered from their final exchange, a moment when she confronted him with unwavering bravery and resolve. It stood in stark opposition to those nearby, who were perpetually complimentary or solely focused on what he could provide. Chloe stood apart, and that captivated him. "Mr. Carter," his assistant interjected, breaking into his reverie. "The individual you referred to is looking to arrange a meeting." Michael nodded, his mind elsewhere. "Absolutely, of course. Plan to have it done by tomorrow." Yet his thoughts lingered on Chloe. He resolved that a meeting with her in person was essential. There's no need for an apology. He found it challenging to grasp how she had managed to recover so swiftly. The following morning, Chloe was busy sorting through a fresh set of orders when a knock echoed at the door. Her heart quickened at the sight of Michael across the way. She inhaled deeply before unveiling it. "What brings you here?" she inquired, her arms crossed defensively. Michael maintained his usual perfection, yet a gentler nuance graced his expression. "It's time for a conversation, Chloe." She released a brief, mirthless chuckle. "Your feelings about me are unmistakable, Michael. I fail to see what there is to talk about." "I was wrong," he said, catching her off guard, "concerning numerous subjects." Chloe arched an eyebrow, filled with doubt. "Is this a gesture of remorse?" He paused for a moment, then gave a slight nod. "In a manner, indeed. I acted on a whim and didn't treat you justly." "Impulsive and unjust?" she reiterated, her tone laced with irony. "You made an accusation against me that was unfounded, brought me shame, and dismissed me without giving me a chance to speak." Michael averted his eyes, visibly uneasy. "I understand. I acted poorly." Chloe inhaled deeply, striving to maintain her poise. "What brings you here, Michael? Are you looking to recruit another tool for your own ambitions?" He shook his head, a wave of frustration washing over him. "That's not quite right. I noticed what you're up to, Chloe. Your creation is truly remarkable. I needed to meet with you and what?" She cut in. "Looking to claim my achievements as your own now?" Michael recoiled, as though her words had landed a blow. "No. I simply wanted to express my admiration for your accomplishments." He rose again despite my actions. For a brief moment, the authenticity in his voice caught her off guard. She observed him intently, seeking to grasp his desires. Michael, the man who had always exuded confidence, now stood before her with an expression she had never encountered before. Openness. "Respect alone won't alter the situation, Michael," Chloe stated with conviction. "I created this entirely by myself, without any assistance from others. You were merely a hurdle I needed to surpass." He nodded in agreement, embracing her words. "I understand. Yet, I hold on to the hope that someday you will find it in your heart to forgive me." Chloe remained silent. With a decisive motion, she shut the door, leaving Michael standing alone on the other side. In the days that followed, Chloe immersed herself in her work, seeking to erase the memory of her encounter with Michael. Despite her best efforts, he continued to permeate her mind. His apparent remorse caught her off guard in a way she hadn't anticipated. Michael, however, was resolute in his quest for redemption. He delved deeper into Chloe's work and discovered the uplifting influence her creations were having. Motivated by her, he chose to leverage his influence to champion sustainable initiatives, a notion he had never contemplated prior. During a gathering with a collective of investors, he unveiled a plan to support small entrepreneurs brimming with innovative concepts. "We require additional initiatives that create an impact," he remarked, astonishing even himself. In the meantime, Chloe found herself with an unexpected invitation to present her creations at a nearby design event. It was her inaugural chance to showcase her creations to a broader audience, and she felt a mix of nerves and excitement. As she meticulously arranged her pieces on the night of the event, a sense of familiarity washed over her, as if a presence lingered just behind her. She pivoted and spotted Michael. "What brings you here?" she inquired, taken aback. "I came to support you," he replied with genuine sincerity. "Before you say a word, let me assure you, I'm not here to take away your spotlight." Chloe folded her arms, her skepticism evident. "What is the reason?" "For I have faith in you," he stated plainly. The words, while surprising, carried a weight that felt genuine. Chloe observed Michael intently, searching for any hint that he might have ulterior motives. Yet all she perceived was sincerity. "You're quite determined, Michael," she remarked at last. "Yet, I remain uncertain about whether I can place my trust in you." He offered a faint smile. "I understand if you find it hard to place your trust in me. I simply wish for an opportunity to demonstrate my potential for improvement." The event turned out to be a triumph. Chloe garnered praise and offers from prospective clients. Despite her hesitations, she had to admit that Michael's presence undeniably brought focus to her work. As the evening drew to a close, he made his way back to her. "If you ever find yourself looking to grow your business, just know that I'm ready to invest," he said. Chloe dismissed the idea with a shake of her head. "Your money isn't what I need, Michael. Should I ever choose to accept your assistance, it will stem from my trust in you, rather than any sense of reliance." Michael acknowledged her choice with a respectful nod. "Then I will strive to gain your confidence." For the first time, Chloe noticed a new side to Michael. Perhaps, just perhaps, he was truly evolving. The showcase marked a significant moment in Chloe's journey. It wasn't solely due to the opportunities it presented, but also because it marked the first moment she truly sensed the influence of her efforts extending beyond the realm of social media. Nevertheless, Michael's surprising backing continued to perplex her. She made an effort to push thoughts of him aside. Yet, there was an undeniable resolve in him to rejoin her on this path once more. In the days that followed, Chloe found herself immersed in a flurry of new orders and exciting invitations to partner with local designers. The meeting with Michael at the event continued to resonate in her thoughts. He displayed a generosity that was entirely unfamiliar to her. Yet she understood that, with Michael, mere kindness couldn't undo what had already transpired. As she immersed herself in crafting a new collection, her phone suddenly rang. Though the number was unfamiliar, she chose to pick up the call regardless. "Greetings? Greetings, Chloe. This is Sarah representing Urban Deco Designs. We are excited to extend an invitation for you to spearhead a project in partnership with a prestigious company. Your work perfectly aligns with our needs." Chloe was in disbelief. Urban Deco Designs stood out as a leading sustainable design firm, recognized for its collaborations with prominent brands. "I would be delighted to." "What is the name of the company?" "Carter Enterprises is the name." The name caused her heart to momentarily freeze. Absolutely, it was. The irony was nearly merciless. I need to consider it," she responded, attempting to maintain a polished demeanor. "We comprehend. This could be an excellent chance for you to broaden your audience. I would appreciate it if you could think it over and get back to me by tomorrow." Chloe ended the call, grappling with the unfolding circumstances. Collaborating with Michael brought to light all the things she was attempting to leave behind. The chance was simply too significant to overlook. The following morning, Chloe resolved to take action and sent a message to Sarah, affirming her commitment to participate. A few hours later, she got the project details along with a request for a meeting at the headquarters of Carter Enterprises. Upon reaching the imposing structure, she was enveloped by a blend of anxiety and resolve. Her purpose wasn't to revive personal connections. She was present in a capacity that reflected her expertise. With her heart pounding, she stepped into the elevator, and upon reaching her destination, an assistant welcomed her and guided her to the meeting room. Upon entering, she immediately spotted Michael. He stood beside a table laden with reports, yet his eyes were drawn directly to Chloe. For a fleeting instant, astonishment flickered across his face, only to be replaced by a warm smile. "Greetings, Chloe." She held onto her poise. "I've arrived for the project, Michael. Let's maintain our concentration on that." He nodded, appearing to honor the limits she established. "Absolutely. I would like you to view this as a collaboration. Your insights will be essential." The meeting unfolded with a clear focus on the facts. Michael unveiled the project. A corporate building crafted with sustainability in mind, aimed at reducing environmental impact. Chloe diligently recorded the conversation, maintaining a professional demeanor, yet she observed that Michael made a special effort to emphasize her contributions, a departure from his usual behavior. Following the meeting, he escorted her to the exit. "Thank you for your willingness to collaborate with us," he expressed with heartfelt sincerity. "I'm here because this project is important," Chloe replied. "However, that does not alter what has already occurred." Michael let out a deep breath, appearing to grasp the situation. "I understand, yet I remain hopeful that eventually we can begin anew." Chloe remained silent. With a quiet nod, She departed, resolute in her commitment to concentrate on the task at hand. In the days that ensued, Chloe immersed herself in the project. With unwavering resolve, she guided the creative team, and her commitment was clearly recognized. Her exchanges with Michael occurred often, yet remained entirely within the bounds of professionalism. He appeared transformed, more open to collaboration, less overbearing. During a meeting one day, Chloe unveiled a daring concept for the interior design. A concern was raised by one of the investors. This appears to be quite precarious. What makes this method worthy of our trust? Just as Chloe was about to respond, Michael interjected. I have confidence in her work. Chloe possesses both the expertise and foresight. If she thinks this is the optimal path for the project, I am on board with it. Michael's public endorsement took Chloe by surprise, yet she maintained her composure. With poise, she elaborated on her proposal, ultimately securing the investor's endorsement. Following the meeting, she approached Michael with determination. What prompted you to take that action? He responded as if it were self-evident, stating that it was simply the right course of action. And since when have you shown any concern for what is right? Chloe shot back, her voice laced with defiance. Michael offered a faint smile, as I came to understand that I had been mistaken about many aspects. Chloe found herself at a loss for words. His earnestness was unsettling. As the project unfolded, their exchanges started to evolve. Michael revealed a more vulnerable side, and Chloe, despite her hesitations, began to uncover aspects of him she had never anticipated. He delighted her with thoughtful gestures, such as bringing coffee to meetings or complimenting her work in front of the team. One afternoon, following a lengthy day at the office, Michael extended an invitation to her for dinner. Nothing formal, he remarked, observing her uncertainty. A simple exchange between two individuals. Chloe paused, contemplating her decision before finally agreeing. The atmosphere at the restaurant was laid back and easygoing. Michael shared stories from his childhood, the hurdles he faced in assuming control of the company, and even his regrets, topics Chloe never anticipated he would discuss. He reflected, I always believed that success was all that mattered. However, I've come to understand that it may not suffice anymore. Achievement holds little value when there's no one to celebrate it alongside you. Chloe responded impulsively. Michael gazed at her, taken aback by the profound nature of her words. Indeed, you are correct. Their gaze locked in a charged moment, yet Chloe averted her eyes, striving to maintain her emotional detachment. The moment was still too premature to lower her defenses. The following day, Chloe found herself taken aback by unexpected news. A decor piece she utilized in the project was highlighted in a design magazine. Michael took the opportunity to commend her in front of others, enhancing her prominence even more. Yet, Chloe came to understand that, in spite of the advancements made, there remained an obstacle that hindered her from completely placing her trust in Michael. His transformation appeared genuine, yet a part of her couldn't shake the suspicion that it was merely another carefully crafted illusion. As the project progressed, Chloe realized that the most significant hurdle lay ahead, determining whether Michael genuinely warranted another opportunity. Chloe stood confidently at the center of the conference room, articulating the advancements of her innovative concepts for the sustainable building. The project had progressed impressively, and the trust she had garnered from both the team and investors was clear to see. Every detail she suggested was greeted with admiration, and even those who had initially doubted her were won over by her vision. Michael, positioned at the head of the table, observed her in silence. He seldom intruded on Chloe's presentations these days, yet he consistently demonstrated his support. His gaze was locked onto her, but it wasn't solely for her expertise. There existed an additional layer. As the meeting drew to a close, Chloe sensed Michael's well-known presence drawing near. You're doing an incredible job, he remarked as they strolled down the hallway. Thank you, she responded, maintaining a steady tone. Michael paused, contemplating his next words. I've been reflecting deeply on our conversation that evening, particularly regarding success and the company we choose to keep during those moments. Chloe halted, pivoting to confront him. "Michael, I'm ready to get to work. Keep things clear and distinct." He shook his head, as if wrestling with a thought he desperately wished to express. "Indeed, perhaps one day you'll grasp the essence of what I'm attempting to convey." Chloe remained silent. She simply turned and left, dismissing the unsettling sensation his words stirred within her. As the project approached its concluding phase, Chloe began to observe something peculiar in the financial reports. Certain budget choices appeared to clash with the sustainability message that Michael highlighted so passionately. It was an undeniable reality she had to confront. That very afternoon, she made her way straight to his office. "Michael, may we have a conversation?" He glanced away from his screen, taken aback by the straightforwardness of her voice. "Of course, what's happening?" Chloe set the papers down on his desk. "The figures are perplexing. How can we discuss sustainability while simultaneously slashing vital funding for it?" Michael gathered the reports and examined them quietly. "I'll check this with the finance department," he said, but Chloe detected a hint of uncertainty in his tone. "You were aware of this, weren't you?" she inquired, her tone laced with exasperation. He set the papers aside and inhaled deeply. "The choice wasn't simple, Chloe. Yet we must find a way to maintain the budget's equilibrium." Chloe gazed at him, disbelief etched across her face. "Are you compromising the project's integrity just to satisfy investors?" "It's not as straightforward as that," Michael responded, his discomfort evident. "I bear obligations. I stand by my principles," Chloe replied with conviction. "Without conviction in your work, this project will lack authenticity." Michael stood in silence, clearly unsettled by what she had said. That evening, Chloe resolved to seek the truth. Michael had always been a multifaceted individual, yet there was an intriguing depth to his recent actions. She began to investigate the history of several companies associated with the project and discovered that many had deep-rooted connections to Michael and his father. The following day, she faced him once more. "Michael, what drives your passion for this project? It's more than merely sustainability, isn't it?" He averted his gaze, seemingly attempting to sidestep the inquiry. "It holds no significance at this point." "Certainly does," Chloe maintained. "To earn my trust, honesty is essential." Michael finally gave in, shutting his eyes for a brief moment before he began to speak. "This endeavor serves as a means to atone for my father's actions. He consistently placed profit above all else, causing significant harm to many individuals. I was raised with the belief that this was the sole path, yet I am determined not to follow in his footsteps." Chloe sat quietly, taking in his words. For the first time, she perceived Michael as a figure of vulnerability, a person grappling with his own history. "Then take a different approach," she finally said. "Demonstrate your potential for improvement." In the ensuing days, Michael made moves to recalibrate the budget, fully aware that it could potentially dissuade certain investors. Chloe observed his sincere efforts to transform, yet a persistent barrier remained that she couldn't penetrate. Let's engage the readers in the comments with some playful interaction. Type milkshake if you've reached this point. Now, let us return to the narrative. As they collaborated, the duo started to exchange more than mere project concepts. Chloe shared her story of a modest upbringing, the struggles of providing for her family, and her aspiration to channel her creativity into making a significant difference. Michael, in turn, shared his experiences of the weight of living under his father's influence, the disappointment of his relationship with Stella, and how encountering Chloe had transformed his outlook on various aspects of life. He confessed during a work break that it dawned on him that success holds no value if it comes at the cost of losing those who truly matter. Chloe felt her heart pounding, yet she maintained a calm facade. "Michael, transformation requires patience. Merely claiming you'll change is insufficient. It is essential to demonstrate it." He gave a slight nod. "Indeed, I shall." During an event highlighting the project's advancements, Chloe found herself approached by Stella, who appeared to seize every chance to encounter Michael. "It seems you've acquired more than merely employment," Stella remarked with a knowing grin. Chloe inhaled deeply, maintaining her composure. "I have put in a great deal of effort to secure my position, Stella. Perhaps you ought to consider taking a similar approach. Stella chuckled, her amusement evident in Chloe's reply. Michael possesses a certain charm when he chooses to display it, yet ultimately he returns to his true nature, a man propelled by his own ego. Best of luck with that endeavor. Chloe remained silent, yet Stella's words lingered uneasily in her mind. Despite Michael's relentless efforts, uncertainty persisted. Those uncertainties intensified as he drew near to her moments later, worry evident in his gaze. "How are you doing?" he inquired. Chloe responded, attempting to downplay the situation. "Stella has a unique knack for being disagreeable." Michael let out a deep breath. "Don't allow her to affect you. She constantly seeks opportunities to inflict pain on me, and now she believes that aiming for you is her best strategy. What is the reason behind that?" Chloe confronted him, her gaze unwavering. "What makes her believe that I hold significance for you?" Michael paused for a moment before responding, "As you are." The language was straightforward, yet it held significant meaning. Chloe found herself at a loss for words. Michael appeared determined to express his emotions, yet she remained hesitant to place her trust in him at that moment. In the days that followed, Chloe immersed herself in her work, yet Michael's words lingered in her mind. He was unequivocal. She held great significance in his life. Although his intentions appeared sincere, Chloe understood that she couldn't depend solely on words. She yearned to trust him, yet her intuition held her back. As the project advanced, a significant presentation event was arranged to unite investors, partners, and industry leaders. This was a pivotal moment to cement Chloe's dedication and obtain the necessary funding for the concluding phase. She planned with great care, aware that the evening would be crucial. Michael, in that moment, found himself nearer than he had ever been. He not only had faith in her choices, but also stood by her in every aspect. Occasionally, Chloe noticed him stealing glances at her during meetings, yet she chose not to confront it. Their equilibrium was fragile, and Chloe understood that a single misstep could unravel it all. On the evening of the occasion, Chloe made her entrance at the beautiful venue, adorned in a dress that was both understated and graceful, perfectly embodying her character. The audience buzzed with anticipation for the presentation, while she fought to maintain her composure, mentally rehearsing every detail. Michael arrived shortly after, impeccably dressed as always, yet exuding a more laid-back vibe than usual. He made his way to Chloe the moment he spotted her. "You look incredible," he remarked, his voice betraying a hint of vulnerability that was uncharacteristic of him. "Thanks," she said, making an effort to maintain a light tone in the conversation. Before they could proceed, Stella emerged, her smile barely concealing her desire to stir things up. "Chloe, what a delightful surprise," she remarked, her gaze sweeping across the room. "It appears you have truly discovered your niche in this environment." Chloe responded with determination, her hard work evident as she stood her ground against any intimidation.
Stella glanced over Michael.
"And what about you, Michael? Are you still attempting to demonstrate something to me?" Michael maintained his composure, yet his voice carried a resolute edge. "Stella, I owe you no explanations, and Chloe stands here without needing your validation." Chloe observed the interaction, feeling a blend of gratification and unease. Michael had openly supported her, yet the clash with Stella appeared to stir up past grievances. As the event unfolded, Chloe shared her vision for the concluding phase of the project. The atmosphere grew still as she articulated how each element was crafted to embody the principles of sustainability and innovation. As she concluded, the crowd burst into enthusiastic applause. Michael rose first, soon joined by the investors and partners. Chloe experienced a wave of pride, yet she was acutely aware that the evening was just beginning. In the cocktail hour that followed the presentation, Stella made another attempt to capture everyone's attention. This time, however, she approached one of the investors and started to drop hints about Michael's past. He has a knack for captivating those around him, yet when it comes to commitment, that's never been his forte, she remarked with a nonchalant air, ensuring Chloe caught every word. Chloe chose to remain on the sidelines. She understood that Michael was capable of standing on his own, Yet Stella's remarks appeared to sow uncertainty among certain investors. Before long, one of the men made his way over to Michael. "Carter, it appears that you're shifting your strategy. The public backing for Chloe was remarkable, but given your past, can this truly be taken at face value?" Michael squinted, a clear sign of his annoyance. "I stand by Chloe due to her remarkable talent and dedication to her craft. If that doesn't sway you, perhaps it's time to rethink our collaborations." Michael's firm tone quieted the man, yet Chloe, observing from afar, noticed that it had impacted Michael more than he revealed. As the night drew to a close, Chloe spotted Michael outside, gazing at the horizon with a weary look on his face. It was a night filled with intensity, she remarked, drawing closer. "That's putting it mildly," he said with a slight grin. "Your performance was truly remarkable. Thanks a lot." However, Stella's words were of no assistance whatsoever. Michael let out a deep sigh, his shoulders burdened with weight. "Stella has a knack for striking at the core of the matter. She is completely opposed to the notion that I am attempting to evolve." Chloe paused, weighing her words carefully before replying. "And what about you?" Michael gazed at her, his demeanor solemn. "I exist, yet not for her." A pause lingered in the air as Michael gathered his thoughts before speaking again. "Chloe, when I let you go, I believed I was safeguarding my own interests. Yet, I only succeeded in distancing myself from the one individual who challenged my understanding of my true self. You revealed to me an alternative path." His words resonated deeply, and Chloe sensed her defenses starting to crumble. "Michael, transformation goes beyond mere words. It resides in the deeds we undertake. Allow me to demonstrate," he stated, his tone resolute. Chloe took her time before replying. A fragment of her being yearned to trust him, yet another fragment remained anchored in the echoes of the past. "We'll see," she remarked at last. In the days that ensued, the ambience within the company shifted. Michael began to take more decisive actions, such as forming alliances with sustainable organizations and severing connections with suppliers that did not share the project's values. Chloe observed that he was genuinely attempting to transform his words into tangible actions. One afternoon, as they meticulously went over the final details of the presentation, Michael did something unexpected that took her by surprise. "Chloe, I want you to understand that, regardless of what unfolds between us, this project came to life solely because of your contributions." She gazed at him, searching for any trace of dishonesty in his words, yet discovered none. "Thank you," she responded with sincerity. Michael paused, contemplating his next words. "I understand that I have much to demonstrate to you, but if you allow me, I would like to make an attempt." Chloe sensed that Michael's intentions appeared sincere, yet an inexplicable hesitation lingered within her. Perhaps it stemmed from the anxiety of experiencing pain once more, or perhaps it was merely a sense of prudence. As the project drew to a close, Chloe found herself swept up in a whirlwind of both exhilaration and fatigue. After months of dedication to the work, she found herself on the brink of launch, recognizing that this moment transcended mere professional achievement. "This marked a significant moment in my journey." Michael appeared to have transformed, or so it seemed. Still, Chloe found herself uncertain about whether she could place her trust in him once more. The launch promised to be an extravagant affair, with media coverage and the presence of international investors and prominent figures from the industry. As always, Michael embraced the role of host, yet he was adamant that Chloe stand beside him. During one of their final meetings, he remarked, "You are the essence of this project. I wish for all to be aware of this." Chloe consented, but only under one stipulation. "As long as it's evident that my position was achieved through hard work, I'm not here to be linked to your history or your errors." Michael acknowledged her determination with a nod. "Absolutely. This achievement is solely yours, a testament to your hard work and dedication." On the morning of the event, Chloe made her way there ahead of time to ensure everything was in order. The structure appeared impeccable, mirroring all that she had imagined. Grace, practicality, and eco-friendliness. As she walked through the halls, she felt a mix of pride and anxiety. Michael arrived shortly after, dressed impeccably in a suit. He seemed confident, But there was something else in his expression, a hint of vulnerability Chloe couldn't ignore. With a sense of apprehension, he inquired as he drew near. She conceded a bit. "What about you?" Without fail, he responded with a grin. "Your presence here simplifies things." Chloe averted her gaze, attempting to escape the heaviness of his words. On that day, Michael exuded a unique lightness that was entirely new to her experience. The event kicked off with a series of speeches and presentations that showcased the project's groundbreaking features. Chloe took the stage to articulate her vision and reveal the process through which she transformed ideas into tangible outcomes. She felt a flutter of nerves, yet when her eyes met the audience, she spotted Michael in the front row, his expression radiating sincere pride. "This endeavor transcends mere sustainability," she remarked, wrapping up her address. "It's about demonstrating that through collaboration and a shared belief in our potential, we can craft something genuinely significant." The crowd burst into applause, yet it was Michael's eyes that lingered in her mind. Following the presentations, a reception took place, and Chloe found herself amidst a crowd of individuals keen to delve deeper into her work. She responded to each inquiry with calmness, yet her focus continually wandered to Michael, who was on the other side of the room engaged in conversation with a cluster of investors. At last, when she found a moment of solitude, Stella showed up, as always, at the most inopportune moment. "It appears, Chloe, that you have succeeded in making quite an impression. Well done." "Thank you," Chloe responded, maintaining her poise. "But tell me, do you really think Michael has changed? Or is he continuing to engage in the same pursuit?" Chloe paused before responding. Stella's tone carried a certain deliberateness, as if her intention was to plant seeds of uncertainty. "Ultimately, it's not your opinion that holds significance," Chloe finally remarked. "This belongs to me." Stella let out a soft chuckle, yet remained silent. She turned and walked away, leaving Chloe to grapple with her own thoughts. Before long, Michael made his way toward her. "It seems Stella is attempting to taint your perspective once more, isn't she?" Chloe let out a weary breath. "That's not it. She has brought to my attention that I still harbor uncertainties." Michael paused, his silence stretching out before he finally replied. "I comprehend. Honestly, I would share your doubts if I were in your situation." Chloe gazed at him, taken aback by his candidness. "Have you truly transformed, Michael? Or is this merely another effort to control everything in your surroundings?" "I have transformed," he asserted with conviction. "However, I understand if you find it hard to take my word for it without further evidence. I aim to demonstrate it gradually." Chloe remained silent, her gaze drifting as she wrestled with her emotions. The evening wore on, yet Chloe's unease deepened. There was an elusive quality she struggled to articulate, a tightness in her chest that would not relent. As the event drew to a close, Michael escorted her to the exit. "Thank you for everything, Chloe," he expressed, his tone brimming with genuine emotion. "This endeavor could not have come to fruition without your support." She nodded, yet his words failed to alleviate her worries. "That was impressive work, Michael. However, that doesn't imply that all issues have been settled." He smiled, yet a hint of melancholy lingered in his gaze. "I understand." In the days that followed, Chloe attempted to resume her normal life, yet her thoughts were persistently drawn to Michael. He was honoring his commitments. His actions demonstrated a clear effort to improve himself. Yet Chloe continued to grapple with the anxiety of allowing herself to trust in her own beliefs. One morning, Chloe found herself staring at an unexpected message from Michael. "I'd like you to take a look at something. Are you able to come to the building today?" Chloe paused for a moment, caught in a web of uncertainty, yet her intrigue ultimately prevailed. Upon her arrival, Michael welcomed her warmly in the lobby. He appeared anxious, a sight that was seldom witnessed. "What is it that you wish to reveal to me?" she inquired, her arms crossed defensively. "Join me," he said, guiding her toward the terrace of the building. Upon their arrival, Chloe found herself at a loss for words. The area had been reimagined as a vibrant garden filled with indigenous flora and a serene space that seemed to emerge from a fantasy. Michael explained that he wanted this project to possess a unique quality, a reflection of the insights I've gained through our collaboration. Chloe faced him, her mind still processing the scene before her. This is truly remarkable, Michael. I appreciate it, but this goes beyond the project itself. This is centered around you. Chloe sensed her heart quicken. Michael. Text. I realize there's still much ahead of me, he remarked, cutting her off. Yet, I wish to journey down this road alongside you, if you would allow me. His words were straightforward, lacking the measured tone she dreaded. Chloe inhaled deeply, sensing her inner walls start to fall away. Perhaps I should consider it, she concluded at last. However, that doesn't imply it will be a walk in the park. Michael beamed, a sincere expression brimming with optimism. Achieving anything of value requires effort. Chloe. The alliance between Chloe and Michael appeared more robust than ever before. Yet Chloe stayed vigilant. The moment on the terrace held deep significance. Yet she understood that trust was not something that could be restored overnight. Michael, in contrast, appeared resolute in demonstrating that his change was authentic. The weeks that followed were filled with intensity. The project was attracting increasing attention, and Chloe found herself frequently invited to events, interviews, and new collaborations. Michael ensured that she received all the recognition, emphasizing her skill and commitment at every opportunity. Yet, a lingering unease remained within her. Michael was exerting himself excessively, as though he believed he could atone for years of errors in merely a matter of weeks. Chloe found herself questioning whether this was a true expression of remorse or merely a ploy to win her over. One day, Michael invited Chloe to join him for a meeting with potential investors. He expressed that he didn't wish to present anything in your absence. Chloe paused for a moment, then nodded in agreement. The gathering unfolded in a sophisticated dining establishment, where the attendees were prominent individuals keen on backing more sustainable initiatives. Chloe articulated her thoughts with assurance, as Michael observed her with a sense of respect. As the meeting drew to a close, an unexpected remark from one of the investors left Chloe taken aback. Michael, you've discovered something truly special. This level of passion and authenticity is a rare find. Michael beamed with delight. Indeed, she stands out in her own way. The praise was sincere, yet Chloe found herself feeling uneasy. She sought to be recognized not merely as Michael's find, but as an individual who had forged her own journey. Eventually, as they sat in the car, Chloe broke the silence. Michael, I value your efforts, but I need to clarify something. My efforts and accomplishments stand independently of you. Michael appeared taken aback for a moment, but then he swiftly nodded in agreement. I comprehend, and I will ensure that all are informed of that. Chloe observed that he was genuinely considering her remarks, which brought her a sense of comfort. While they concentrated on finalizing the project, an unforeseen issue emerged. A key supplier was postponing the delivery of materials, jeopardizing the launch of a new phase of the construction. Michael, resolute in his quest to address the problem, convened an urgent meeting with the entire team. We must not allow this to jeopardize our timeline, he asserted with conviction. Chloe, do you have any thoughts on how we might navigate this situation? Chloe examined the reports and proposed a different approach that included a more dependable, smaller local supplier. While it may not be the least expensive choice, it certainly stands out as the most effective one. Michael acted without a moment's pause. Let's move forward with it, and we can address the extra expenses afterward. The choice was bold, yet it demonstrated that Michael was placing the essence and principles of the project above financial gain, a fact that Chloe observed with respect. Following the crisis, Chloe started to notice a steadier transformation in Michael. His priority lay not in how he was perceived by others, but in the successful outcome of the project. Subtle actions also revealed his evolution. Genuine praise for the group, principal choices, and instances where he acknowledged his own errors. As the evening unfolded and they meticulously examined the final details of the project, Michael found the courage to share a secret. Collaborating with you has illuminated a significant insight for me. Chloe gazed at him, intrigued. Excuse me? For years, I focused on fulfilling the expectations of others. My father's, my investors, even Stella's. Yet, you never anticipated anything from me. You simply desired for me to embrace my own truth. Chloe stayed quiet, taking in his words. So, are you being truthful at this moment? Michael acknowledged with a subtle smile. For the very first time, I believe I truly am. The culmination of the project was celebrated with an event that gathered prominent individuals from diverse fields. Chloe and Michael stood together, basking in the accolades and admiration for their efforts. The night seemed idyllic, yet Chloe was haunted by an unsettling sense that something remained unfinished. During the event, Michael discreetly led her to a more secluded area. Chloe, there's a message I've been crafting in my mind for days now. She gazed at him, a look of confusion on her face. What is it exactly? Michael inhaled deeply before he began to speak. Your presence in my life is invaluable. This endeavor, my evolution. Everything began when you entered my life, opening my eyes to a new perspective on the world. Chloe sensed her heart quicken. Michael, I understand that I have to work to gain your trust. He cut in. However, beyond that, I wish for you to understand the depth of my admiration for you. Not merely in a professional capacity, but as an individual. Chloe found herself at a loss for words. His words seemed genuine, yet she remained uncertain about whether she could release her skepticism. As the event drew to a close, Michael accompanied her to her car. Thank you for being there with me tonight, he expressed. Chloe offered a smile, one that was both timid and significant. You're making progress, Michael, but the journey isn't finished just yet. He let out a gentle laugh. I understand. As the vehicle pulled away, Chloe caught a glimpse of Michael's reflection in the glass and understood that he was genuinely making an effort to transform. For the first time, she sensed a flicker of trust in him. In the days that ensued, Michael kept astonishing her. He engaged in social projects, championed young entrepreneurs, and financed sustainable initiatives. Chloe recognized that his actions stemmed from a sincere conviction, rather than a mere desire to win her admiration. One afternoon, immersed in her creative space, she received a message from Michael. Please proceed to the building. I have something to share with you. Upon her arrival, she discovered Michael on the rooftop. A mural was installed, showcasing images and narratives of individuals whose lives had been enriched by the project. He explained that he believed this would serve as a meaningful reminder of the reasons behind our beginnings. Chloe's eyes brimmed with tears. It's truly remarkable, Michael. He gazed at her, a genuine smile gracing his lips. Exactly as you are. As Chloe looked at the mural, she understood that she might finally be prepared to trust him once more. In the days after the project's final event, Chloe found herself enveloped in a blend of tranquility and contemplation. The structure was officially in use, garnering accolades from specialists in architecture and eco-friendly design. Her name had gained recognition beyond her local community, reaching international audiences, a reality she had never envisioned. Michael, in contrast, appeared to be more aloof. He concentrated on fresh initiatives and was occupied with discussions to grow his enterprise. Yet Chloe understood he was deliberately allowing her the freedom to choose for herself. In the midst of her creative process, Chloe found herself presented with an unexpected opportunity to address an international audience at a conference dedicated to sustainable design. The chance was too important to decline, yet it required a few weeks of absence. Prior to finalizing her attendance, she opted to have a conversation with Michael. She strolled through the reception area of Carter Enterprises and headed directly to his office. He appeared taken aback by her presence. Chloe, what an unexpected delight. Is all well? Indeed, she responded. However, I felt it was important to share something with you before reaching a conclusion. Michael placed his papers down and motioned for her to go on. What thoughts are swirling in your head? I have received an invitation to an international conference. This is an opportunity to grow my brand, though I will be absent for a few weeks. Michael observed her in silence for a brief moment before a smile spread across his face. That's incredible, Chloe. It would be best for you to leave. Chloe experienced a surge of relief upon hearing his reply. Thanks a lot. I figured you might like to be the first to know. Michael acknowledged with a nod. I want you to be aware that I'm cheering for you. At all times. The genuine quality of his voice surprised her. Chloe experienced an unusual warmth in her chest, yet chose to keep it hidden. The journey marked a significant point in Chloe's professional life. She encountered esteemed experts, recounted her journey, and received invitations to partner with firms from abroad. As she discussed her projects, it became clear that, even from a distance, Michael's teachings on leadership and vision influenced every aspect of her work. How about we engage in a little fun with those who focus solely on the comments? Drop a pizza in the comments. Only those who have journeyed to this point will truly comprehend. Let us proceed with the narrative. Yet, in the midst of her achievements, an emptiness lingered that she couldn't overlook. In the stillness of her hotel room, she found her thoughts drifting to Michael. His words, his actions, and the very way he gazed at her lingered in her thoughts, an ever-present echo in her mind. Upon her return to the city, Chloe resolved to head directly to the Carter Enterprises building. Though the hour was late, she was certain that Michael would likely still be present. As she entered his office, she discovered him by himself, reviewing reports. Michael glanced up from the documents, a smile spreading across his face, caught off guard. Chloe, I wasn't aware you would return today. I just arrived, she remarked, shutting the door softly behind her. Yet I had to lay my eyes on you. He rose at once, filled with worry. Is there an issue? Indeed, Chloe responded, her voice quivering just a bit. During my time away, I came to an important realization. Michael remained quiet, observing her closely. In his eyes, there was a hint of vulnerability, a silent acknowledgement that this moment held great significance. What is it exactly? Chloe moved closer, searching for the perfect words to express herself. Throughout this journey, I came to understand the extent of your transformation. Michael, I noticed that you are no longer the aloof and haughty person I once encountered. And I came to understand that, despite my efforts to resist, I found myself falling for you. The words flowed rapidly, as though they had been held back for far too long. Michael paused for a moment, seemingly lost in thought, before he stepped forward, bridging the gap between them. Chloe, you can't imagine how long I've been longing to hear that, he said, his voice thick with feeling. She attempted to voice her thoughts, yet he persisted, softly cradling her hands. Long ago, I found myself captivated by you. Your arrival transformed everything in my life. Your influence inspired me to strive for improvement, revealing that my previous pursuits lacked significance without a higher purpose. Chloe's eyes brimmed with tears, yet she held her gaze steady. Michael, I felt a sense of fear, fearful of vulnerability, hesitant to share, wary of pain once more. However, at this moment, I find myself unwilling to continue running. In silence, Michael drew closer and pressed his lips against hers. The kiss was charged with feeling, a culmination of all the unspoken words and emotions they had restrained for far too long. As they finally separated, a smile spread across his face as he looked at her. Chloe, you have completely changed me, not merely in the realm of commerce, but as an individual. I desire to journey alongside you, not merely today, but for all time. Would you consider being my girlfriend? Chloe chuckled, her emotions still swirling, as she cradled his face in her hands. Indeed, Michael, I shall. In the ensuing months, Chloe and Michael embarked on the creation of something they had never envisioned. A bond founded on trust, respect, and love. Michael kept delighting her with thoughtful acts of love, as Chloe gradually opened her heart to him without reservation. United, they began to envision grand possibilities. Chloe broadened her brand, while Michael immersed himself in social projects and sustainable initiatives, motivated by the principles she introduced into his life. On a memorable evening, amidst the applause of the crowd at the unveiling of a new space they had crafted together, Michael grasped Chloe's hand tightly. He gazed into her eyes and, with a heartfelt smile, said, Chloe, you've transformed my life in countless ways. I aspire to create something greater than mere projects with you. I aspire to create a meaningful existence. Before she had the chance to reply, he lowered himself to one knee, revealing a small box that contained a ring, both simple and elegant. Would you do me the honor of becoming my spouse? Chloe's eyes brimmed with tears, yet she pressed on without a moment's pause. Indeed, Michael. Absolutely. The wedding was quiet, full of meaning, and surrounded only by their closest friends and family. For Chloe and Michael, this moment marked not only the beginning of a new chapter, but also a testament to the idea that genuine affection can emerge from the most surprising circumstances. As they gazed at the horizon during their honeymoon, fingers intertwined, Chloe sensed a tranquility unlike anything she had ever known. She understood that the future would present obstacles, yet she felt prepared to confront them with the one she had come to cherish and rely on. Do you believe Chloe made the right choice in forgiving and marrying Michael? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Please provide a rating for this story on a scale from 0 to 10. How would you rate it? Join our channel and tap the bell to stay updated with all our narratives. Be sure to explore additional captivating tales by clicking here on the end screen.